mean, overall, I think our group did like really well at doing consensus. Like before making a decision, like we'd all see what we had to do to make sure that like, or like what we wanted to do, and like we'd all take like a vote, and however many votes were like there, we'd look, and sometimes we got stuck in like 3 versus 3. But besides that, I think it was really good. Like when we were just trying to make decisions between all 6 of us.
I think there was also a lot of compromise. Like one person would say like, I really want mechanical burning here, and everybody else wanted manual. So we'd be like, okay, we'll do manual here, but we'll give you mechanical at a different place where you want mechanical.
Yeah, exactly.
We just did like a good job of like all presenting like our own cases, because it's like important that like we like did our own jobs on the side and like read the messages and like present like what we thought was best for our portion of the project. So we like really enacted our rules well.
I agree with the consensus for sure, because it was like, that was a big aspect that was important in a group project, because if one of us wasn't agreeing, there was always like an agreement that could be made between us all. And I think that was probably one of our biggest parts that made us function and interact well as a group.
Yeah, I think the group went well. Like in the beginning, when we started working together, we had a few problems that we like didn't know how to go at it, and we had some conflicts with each other. But after maybe a few sessions, I think after different classes, we pretty much came to like a good agreement with each other.
And then on top of yours, with the emails and everything, it was interesting how some of us, like Izzy was usually kind of similar with us, where we'd get very similar emails and like what we had to do and what we needed to change and where we needed what. And then we'd have other people, like usually like you guys, or like sometimes he was involved, but it would just be a little mix up, and like we were kind of split down the middle sometimes. Sometimes it was like 2 to 3, and yeah, consensus wise, we were really good at deciding like, okay, like we can split it up. Like you can get mechanical here as long as I can have manual over here. It was a very good like
that was funny
delegating.
Because like it was funny because we'd have to be talking to each other without showing each other our computers. So it was kind of a little bit challenging at times, but fun to figure out.
It was definitely challenging that one day that you were like the team leader and I messed it up, and your computer just like hated you and it wouldn't let us do it, and we were all just trying to sit here yelling at each other like, I want this, and you're like, I'm trying, just wait.
I also think it was good just because his was so abnormal in the fact that pretty much he wanted to burn down the entire forest. So I think it was hard to accommodate everything like as much that you needed, but we also did a lot of like, well, this is toward the edge, so we could put more burning over here, and that would help him out.
The pile burning.
And then we did the pile burning for the festival. So I think we, even though it was hard to accommodate what everyone wanted, we were like mutually trying to help other people while helping
the pile
ourselves.
burning was actually a really successful thing to find out in our group, because we had to go through our emails and actually
do the stimulation.
Yeah, I remember like Sam was like, click that, because I found it. She said, click that, and we're like, whoa, we can pile burn now. We got all excited.
I feel like it went from being like a lot of task conflict to like figuring it out all together as like a group. And, like, it was really good for all of us like use our minds to figure out those little things, because we wouldn't have found that email unless like a couple of us were like, I don't remember who saw it, but they were like, read this one part, it talks about something on like this, but
we really like, it was like session after session, like there was like a significant amount of growth like after every rest of the teaching, because we really like made progress working together, and like ended up exacerbating like every resource possible to like represent like all of our roles well.
I think some people's professions were definitely harder. Like mine was all prescribed.
Let's just burn it
It
all.
was just really difficult for everyone, because I wouldn't, my like profession wouldn't cooperate with anyone's like desires, so it was a little difficult. But in the end, we figured it out, because the outer ridge of the map was a lot of Trevor, and you guys like worked with it.
role identity.
Yeah, it's definitely hard. Like when you've got like your role identity was just chosen from the beginning, and you had a map like yours, and you were like, well, everyone's gonna hate me, and I'm gonna hate everyone because none of these go along well together. But I mean, it kind of like ends up working out together in the end, even though it doesn't seem like it's going to.
Right, and I also think like as the weeks went on, like obviously we were like given a role identity, we didn't really have the opportunity to like feel it out. Right.
Yeah.
But as the weeks went on, we like kind of understood each other's, and so we like had more sympathy for like what other people were trying to do, because we like understood our role identity, but we also got like other people's goals as the weeks went on.
I agree, and the emails are kind of interesting too, because they would try to like put you down or lift you up, and then that was a big interest in our role identities or in our feelings, because it would like either make you do better in the task of that day, or
it's like, damn, they're assholes to me.
I also think it kind of goes with like groupthink and fault lines, because like those emails would kind of like give you the groupthink and fault lines where it would like cause problems and cause tensions for like one member specifically, or like the whole group, or like team specifically, where it's like, I don't know if we'd necessarily have all those problems if they weren't for the emails, like kind of a rising tension between our group.
Right, and I think the groupthink definitely came with that, to where like some of us wanted different things, but then 3 people would say, well, we all got these emails that said, like, for this
Yeah.
reason, we can't burn and we have to mechanical thin. And even though, say, like, maybe I wanted manual thinning, I would be like, okay, well, everyone emailed you guys, so obviously it's important that we do it that way. So I was kind of just like, yeah, let's do it that
And
way.
I don't think groupthink was like a huge issue for us. I think
Right.
it could, if we had continued our groupthink and didn't have any faults in our ideas, then it could have become an issue because we would have all just gone with the same map, and that wouldn't have been good for certain people's roles. So I think groupthink, I'm glad we didn't have a ton of it, but in certain situations it did help.
Definitely.
Kind of off the emails, I would say like task conflict. We didn't have a ton, which I was very happy with. But there was definitely a few points where, like how you're saying, there were like 3 of us that got the same email and we're like, I absolutely cannot do this, or I absolutely need to do this. And then other people like were a little bit more hesitant about like, well, I don't really want to do that, or I do want to do that. And I'd say there was maybe a few times like a 2-minute pause where we would all kind of just be rereading things and thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And it definitely wasn't an ongoing like big problem, but there definitely was a little bit of task conflict here and there.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I think that task conflict with those few situations that occurred was like when those moments led to groupthink, because we were kind of in like such a limbo for some time. We just got frustrated and
Yeah.
we're kind of like,
We're
okay,
screwed.
we're just gonna make a decision right now. So.
Yeah.
Right. And I definitely think we can, like she said, where we would kind of get quiet for a second, like read our emails, that kind of incorporated like the transactive memory systems and like the expertise aspect of it. Because like when we would start to disagree on different things, obviously we aren't natural experts. Like I'm not the expert of being the mayor because it's like a role identity I was given. But we would kind of stop for a second, read our emails, like read the information we're given, and kind of like establish ourselves and like our expertise, what we were trying to do, and then be able to like bring that back to the circle.
Yeah, and then credibility came into play with like the TMS for sure. Like I could definitely tell that you were all pretty like credible with like all of the emails that you guys had in the background that you had from your role identity. Like it made me feel like all of you were way more credible than like we probably are in real life. But since we had this background, like it gave us that credibility right there.
I think together we were able to create a larger strategy of what we thought was going to be good for our map for the town, and in doing so we did the tactics of going through the different meetings and deciding what was going to be done during that meeting, the next meeting. So I think that was important, all the steps and then reaching the strategy.
Yeah.
I want to check out.
Yeah.
Okay, we're at 7 minutes.